Okay, so we want to log in, and I'll post the instructions for this after we finish. So log in, and then go to manage my online resources, self-serve password change. Okay, so click here, and then what are we supposed to do? Then we're supposed to under the Manage Resources menu option. Okay, did we pick that? I guess we have to click here. So click on okay, I'm gonna guess you guys are gonna pick a student. I'm gonna pick instructor. Okay, so what do we want here? We want okay, so you have all these things, wireless. Okay, so we want to change what is it? STW. Whoops. STW. Oh, it is requested. Does yours say requested? Yeah, so you pick student and you went to, okay. So back here, I clicked on Manage Resources here. Oh, so I logged into just Blackboard. Not that. Just my Ryerson. Then I went to here in self-serve, and I clicked here, and then I went to Manage Resources, and I went to instructor, but you go to student. Select owner role. Do you guys have all these or just a few? Just a few, right? Okay, so make sure that STW is requested. Okay. Oh, okay. So your web address. So whenever we have a web server, there's sort of a back end, a front door to come in, and a back door to go in, right? So when we just go to when we just type in our URL, that's the front side, right? That's like going through the side that everyone should go to. But what we need to do is we're going to use. I don't know if they have a web tool, but SSH. Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll figure that out. So let's. So your address, your Ryerson address, should be www.ca tilde. So tilde is the little squiggly that's on under the escape key. Okay, and then your username. So you should see something like this. Not available. Does everyone get not available?
Sorry, should we be doing this through Google, not through my Ryerson?
Just do it through a browser. So just in Chrome or in any browser, put this. So this should be. Let's see. Okay. So what we want to do now is. Okay, so I'm assuming that you're going to use your username and password that you use for Blackboard. So first we have to download a program. So what we want to do now is, so our web server is just another computer somewhere in the bowels of Ryerson somewhere that we don't really know. So we need a program to copy files from our computer onto that computer, which is the web server. So you could use a program like FileZilla, but I think the school has their server set up in a way that you have to use another tool. So if you go to ryerson.ca/ccs, we should be able to find, where is SSH? Telephone. Downloads. Okay, let's try that. And software, no. Email and faxing. Huh. Ah, okay. So, oh, son of a. Okay, so they've taken this away. And they haven't put up a replacement. Okay, let me just quickly see if I can log in with FileZilla, and then I'll get you guys to do that. The problem with FileZilla is that it now comes with a bunch of malware, unfortunately. So I'm going to type in the address, stw.ryerson.ca. That's my host address. And then I'm going to try logging in with my regular username and password. Okay, excellent. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, so how many, everyone got, they couldn't access their directory, right, when they went there? Okay, so let's try accessing it through FTP. So those of you on the lab, how many of you are on lab computers? Okay, let me see what we have here for FTP. Windows software applications, because I don't think it lets you install Eclipse. Well, we might have to set up Dreamweaver, but that's not the best bet. Geez, I really wish they would just nope. Okay, I'm just let's try it here. You can probably do it just in Chrome. So what did I say? stw.ryerson.ca. Okay, so can everyone do that as well? So we're going to try using just the browser, because the browser does a lot of FTP functionality. And this is just, everyone will have a browser, so they will know for sure if your server is set up. And if not, we may not get to post to the server today. I might have to find out what's going on. So I'm going to type in my username and password, so you do the same thing.
So do you want us to use FileZilla?
If you have it, you could use FileZilla.
I have Dreamweaver, so that's cool.
Well, it's a little bit, to upload new files, it's a little difficult with Dreamweaver. We can do it, but let's start with Chrome, I would say, and then, because at least we could know if your server exists, if your folder exists. Yep.
Sorry, where are we going?
So go to Chrome, and then in your address bar, oh shit, sorry. I mean, shoot, I'm not showing you here. Okay, so here, we'll do this. FTP stw.ryerson.ca. So remember, to our first class, what are we saying when we put FTP here? What are we saying? Right, but what about just FTP? What am I telling the system? What am I specifying by putting anything here, the beginning here? What am I specifying? What's that? Right, but so what is HTTP and FTP? What is that? What are they referring to?
FTP is like
File transfer protocol. There you go. So what's HTTP? Hypertext transfer protocol. So those both are protocols, right? So we're telling Chrome, I'm going to send a message over the internet in a different protocol than you're used to, okay? Which is FTP. So you should then get a username and password up. So then put in the username and password you use for Blackboard. And hopefully it'll log you in. No? No? Okay, let me just look at 2 seconds at these instructions here. So when we went to here, let's see. We'll go. What is it? It's so my Ryerson. Manage resources. Let me try student. See what you guys see. Select owner role. Is it so? You only see this, or do you see STW as well? Okay. And what does it say? And you're certain it says for STW it says requested. And okay. Well, I'll have to send an email to the administration. You were able to log in? Yes, that's what you should see. But you're the only one that sees that. Did anyone else get, it should say a blank page, it should say something like public_HTML. You see that? Okay, who else sees that? So what's common between you guys? Are you guys full-time students? And is everyone else not a full-time student? No, you're full and you don't have it? Oh, you're not? Is anyone a full-time student and doesn't have that? Okay, that's not it. First year maybe? No? I'm just trying to figure out why some people have server access. And, maybe if you go not requested, requested, and then update resources. I don't know. Select requested to activate a resource. So it should be active. No, that just means it can't find your account, I don't think. So you're certain you're using the right username and password? The same that you used to log into Blackboard, right? You were able to log into Blackboard, right? Okay, that is weird. You should have it. So I'm going to have to find out offline why that is the case. Because probably everyone has gone home for the day. Okay, you know what we could do? Because I really wanted to use a server today. So let's find a free web server. Okay. Now the thing with this is there'll probably be some ads, but that's okay. We just want to demo this stuff, right? So remember. So let's talk about web servers for a little bit. So if you let's say you want to create a website. Let's say you're Ryerson University and you want to create a website. Okay. So first thing we learned that you need is a domain name, right? That's the first thing. Just the name to point to your web server. Okay. So that's the address everyone will type in. Now then after that you need a physical computer to host your files. Okay? And this computer needs to be always on and always accessible to the internet, preferably on a really, really fast connection. Okay? So what I'm describing is called a web server. Okay? So you need two big things, a domain name and a web server. Okay? So thinking about a web server, just as with any technical resource, there are usually two options, which are buy or lease. Okay? I highly, highly, highly recommend leasing. Okay? Unless you're an enormous corporation, and unless maybe I would say if your website or your web server is a core part of your business, and that if it goes down, you're out of business, maybe I would consider hosting your own servers. Okay? But so just keep in mind, running a web server is a full-time job. You need one person at least to do that. Okay? Especially for a large site. So you need an admin, a server admin. Okay? If you lease a server, that comes with the lease. Right? Now the other thing is that if you lease, the leasing solutions go from the tiniest possible thing to they can scale basically infinitely, as large as the internet is. It can scale. Right? So, for example, Amazon provides web servers. Okay, very, very cheap, and you can actually I think you have to be a student. One of my students last year at Centennial, they provide it for free, and these are virtual servers, so it's almost like you have your own hardware, your own computer sitting somewhere, but it's one computer that's shared, and it only seems like it's one. Server space and bandwidth are incredibly, incredibly cheap nowadays. So I think GoDaddy for single digits, $7, $8, $9, $10 a month will give you unlimited bandwidth and I think unlimited storage. Okay, so that's about $100 a year for your server costs. Now let's look at owning for a quick second. So you need an internet connection. That is going to cost you $100 a month at least. Then you need a computer. Let's say $500. We'll go cheap. Then you need to pay someone to maintain it, set it up. Who knows how much that'll cost, right? It's again, unless you're a huge corporation with a huge budget, the owning is never going to be financially feasible. Always lease. Okay. If not for, if you're going to be the person responsible for the website, do you want to field calls at 2 in the morning when the server is down and go and fix it? I don't. I'd rather pay any amount of money to GoDaddy, almost any amount, and they can deal with it. Okay? They have people, special people, very smart people. They spend all their time just thinking how to keep the web server up. If you're a business and that's not your business, pay someone else to do it. Yeah, that's my little spiel about leasing. You could set up a web server in your house. You could do that. It's technically feasible. I don't recommend doing that unless you want to be a server admin. Okay, if that's what you want to do, then find a job at a data center and get paid good money to do it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to sign up for access to a free web server. Okay. So what we'll do, free hosting. Look, so for free, this is what we get for free. We get 1.5 terabytes of data. Okay. 100 gigs transfer per month. A bunch of domains, control panel. We can look through this. Actually, this is probably good for you guys to see. Now, for $4 a month, okay, we can. You might want to buy this later on, maybe, or check out what GoDaddy has to offer. So, unlimited disk space and unlimited data transfer. Now, I would maybe put unlimited in quotes, like unlimited how Rogers, considers unlimited bandwidth maybe. So if you just set your transfer to be, transferring all day and night for years, I think eventually they might say, hey, what's going on here? But for all intents and purposes, you basically have unlimited space. So you could upload your videos, your images, anything. Okay? Okay, so let's sign up. I don't think this needs a credit card. If it does, we won't do it. But let's quickly just sign up. I will choose a free subdomain. Okay, so we're going to choose a free subdomain. So it's just going to use we're going to piggyback on their existing domain because we don't want to go through the trouble and cost of registering a domain right now. But I do recommend every one of you should go and register yourname.com. Or that's what I have. So you could go to GoDaddy. Let's see how much a .ca or a .com is. Now, if you have a unique name, so here you could do it right now. So let's say if you looked up Jane Smith, you're going to be out of luck. Okay, but if you have a unique name, or you could add in your middle name. You could buy janesmith.biz or .ca for $10 a year. Okay, so even .ca, that's a pretty big that's a pretty big extension. So I have at one point I had carmenbrangie.com and .ca, but I just gave up on the .ca. Okay. So I recommend you doing that. And then what you can do once we get once we get your Ryerson account set up, you can direct your domain to point there. You can direct your domain to point anywhere. Okay. So later on, if you switch servers, you can just redirect it. Okay. Okay. So let's quickly sign up for this. So I'm just going to sign up for carmenbranje.net84.net and my name, and I'm going to do this. So, okay. And I hate these things because I can never read them. Grab Parth. Okay. So agree, create my account. Oh, I've already registered with this email. Please log in. Okay, so I've already registered at this site. I think I was doing a similar thing. So you guys finish and then log in, and we'll get going here. RT. Oh, okay. In a long time. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I'll just give you a minute or two to set that up. Just give me an indication when you're... So it should send you an email with some details, and then click there, and it should be able to log in. Let me know if you have any problems. Yeah, use your... It doesn't really matter what email you use. So now, the difference between this server and the server provided to you by Ryerson is actually this server is more capable. The student server from Ryerson has disabled server-side scripts, which I think we'll touch on in this course near the end. So you couldn't run a dynamic site on the Ryerson student page. You could only do the stuff we've been working on, which is front-end only. You can't do any server-side stuff. This server is a full-fledged server. It'll run PHP. I believe it even comes with the database and all that, which we won't get into in this course. But this type of service is able to host an actual website, whereas the Ryerson one is more just for learning. Okay. So does everybody have? So you should go to your site and you should see. So I have a different subdomain. Yours is going to be something like net, whatever it was, net something.net. And then go there and you should see a page like this. Yeah, go to find the email that the site sent you, and then they'll have all the information that you need, including this URL and etc. Okay, and while I'm waiting, I'm going to upload some notes for you guys. So I've been uploading the videos, but I haven't really provided any text. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to put it in documents. I'm going to upload some of the notes I've been working on so far. What do I want to do? I want to create an item. Call it Notes Class 1. Actually, let me upload for what we're going to do today. Whoops. yeah, let's start with this one. And probably these. Oh, I can't do multiple. Okay. Permit users. Sure, we'll track number of these. Submit. Okay, so I've uploaded a PowerPoint slide that I'm going to upload a few more. That'll be about that'll take care of today's topics that we're going to look at, and then before next week, I'll upload the notes and everything that we've been doing from the previous courses. Just don't want to waste too much time. Oh, this is actually we got to edit this. Notes. We'll say notes on layout. So today we're going to use HTML and CSS to basically create a navigation bar and a content area and a website with a couple of pages. What else do I want to upload here? Build content. So does everyone have set up their free web server now? Okay, everyone has their server up and running? Excellent. Okay. So what we're going to do is first we're going to build a little website on our local computer, and then once we're sort of ready, or maybe even once we just have a little bit of it together, we can copy it to our server and we'll look at it as hosted by a server. Okay? So let's do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll create a new folder. We'll call this HTML and CSS layout. Okay. Okay. So first things first. What do we do first? We need to create a new text file. So we go right-click New, create a new text document, and we're going to call this index.html. Why do we call our first file index.html? Well, it's not easier. It's just that's the page that is loaded automatically when you first go to a website. So technically, I guess that's easier. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, so while we're going through this, I want you to remember back to this. Okay? Remember the box model. Okay? Everything in CSS and HTML is a box. Right? Your headings are boxes, your paragraphs are boxes, your tables are boxes, your unordered lists are boxes, your anchor tags are boxes. Everything is a box, and everything has these four things: margin, border, padding, content. Okay? So we're going to manipulate this box model in order to create a layout for our web page. Okay? And we're going to use something called fluid layout. So we want to make a site that, remember I showed you how to use relative sizing. Right? We don't want to program our site with absolute positioning and size in it. Okay? We want our website to nicely reflow based on the screen width. Okay? So we'll try and do that as we go through our design. Okay? So let's open up our index file in either Notepad++ or I'll use Dreamweaver today. So I can just click and drag into Dreamweaver. Okay. So now I have an empty HTML file. So the first thing we should do is set out, because we know this is an HTML file, we can give it our HTML tags. Then we set out our head tag. Okay. And then we set our body tag. Okay. So far this should all be review. Okay? And so one thing you may have noticed and this is one of those topics that are sort of secondary to web development that I'll try and give to you guys throughout the course. But you may have noticed that I don't code very much before I check. Right? I don't know if you've noticed. I'll do one thing. 1 line, 2 lines maybe, save it, and then check it right away. Why do you think that's a good way of doing it? Why would you want to do it like that? Instead of the alternative is write lots and lots and lots of code and then try it. Why would you want to do it in little bits? Yeah.
Yes, so you know things are working. And
Yeah.
what you did, like one at a time, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you know, what if you miss like one little letter,
Right.
right?
But I mean, if you did it the other way, you would still see that it's not working, right?
But you wouldn't know where.
Yeah, exactly.
where-
Right. So what can happen is if you go too far, errors will cascade, right? So the location of, let's say, the incorrect character may be, let's say, on line 10. But the effect of that error may not show up till line 20, right? Or sometimes the first error will create a second error. So even though the second thing is correct, the first error causes the second thing to not be correct. Okay? So what can happen then is you'll be looking at the second thing, right? Because the second thing is not producing the result you expect. But the second thing is not the problem. It's the first thing that you skipped over. Okay? So it's a really good habit to get into is to just code a little bit and then right away check. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put test, and then right away I'm going to go in here and check, because there we go. So, you know, maybe there's a bunch of reasons. So maybe I'm picking the wrong file, or maybe, who knows, there could be a ton of problems. But now that I've clicked on this and I've seen test, I know that so far I'm good. I'm good to continue. Okay? So, back to our code. So I showed you a lot of tags the first week when we first looked at HTML, but I didn't show you one of the most important tags, which is called the div tag. Okay, and the div tag is a funny little fella. It's kind of an empty tag. It doesn't really do anything other than just be a tag. Okay, it doesn't make things into links. It doesn't make things bold. Right? If I just did this, like the same thing I had before, right? Except I put div tags around test. If I go and look at it now, it hasn't changed. Nothing is different. Okay? But there is. Nothing visual is different, but there is a difference there. So now what we have is we have a box around our test. We can't see it because there's no border. But let's do that. Let's turn on the border for this div tag. So how could we do that? What do we have to do? I want to turn on the border for this div tag. What do we have to do that? Yep. But so I mean more general. What do I need to use? Yeah, even more general. CSS. I need to use CSS to do that. Style sheet. So how do let's say, what's the best way to include style in your HTML file? Right? There's two ways of doing it. We could put the style code directly in this file, or we could put it in another file and link that file in. Which of those two should we do? The second one. It's much better. And you'll see why at the end of this tutorial. It'll be crystal clear on why you should do that. Okay? So let's do that. So we'll create our style sheet. Style sheet dot CSS. Okay. And let's see if I can do this by memory. Link. Was it relation? Then I'm gonna have to look this up. style sheet. Yes, style sheet. And type equals text/CSS, and then href equals our file name. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's open up our style sheet in Dreamweaver. We'll click and drag it over. Okay. So, if we want to style this div tag, what's the first thing that I put in my style sheet? Div. Because I don't want to select the element that I want to style. Okay, then I need my curly braces, and then for border I need two things. I need border style, which we'll pick as, I think it's usually a good idea to pick from these lists, because then you won't have errors, keying errors. You know, sometimes you might put that by accident if you type, but if you pick it from a list, then you won't have those types of errors. And then also we want to change the border width to, let's make it 1 pixel for now, and save. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Huzzah! Okay, so notice now we can see our div box. So a div box is made to wrap other tags and possibly apply style or to group them. So a div tag by default takes up 100% width, and the length will adjust to the content. Okay, so this will, let's say I have inside my div tag, let's say I put a P. We'll put a bunch of P's. Okay, so if we expand now and refresh, so see how all the tests, it pushed open that div, it pushed it down. Okay. Now, of course, we can override that. We can override any of these settings, just like with the heading. Remember the heading tag? You could make the font size to be 6 pixels if you wanted. You could make your heading tag, the text be smaller than your paragraph. You could do that. There's nothing technically stopping you from it except good practice, really, right? So we can do anything to this div box. Okay, so let's figure out, we want to do a basic layout, okay? And usually when I do layout, it's a good idea to do your layout or your design in a separate tool. So, a project I worked on, a mobile phone app, in a meeting with the stakeholders, I'd do little mock-ups just on a whiteboard and marker. And I'd say, this is the screen, this is where the button's going to go, this is where the field's going to go, this is where the other field's going to go. I just mocked it up really quickly. Okay? So that's what we're going to do first. Let's design our website. Okay? So the tool I'm going to use to do it, you could use a pen and paper if you wanted. You could use Paint. I'm going to use Illustrator. Okay? How many of you don't have Illustrator right now? You should have it. Even if you don't, you could follow along. It should be on the lab computers there. If you go to CS. Okay? So open up Illustrator, and we're going to mock up just the basic outline of our page. Okay? So in Illustrator, we go to File, New, okay, and we create a new document. You can just accept all the defaults. Okay, so maybe let's change the perspective. Let's change it to, let's see if I can remember how to do this. View. I want to change, let's see here. Edit. File? Document setup. Thank you. And we want to bleed transparency. Are you sure about that? Medium.
You can go edit artboards.
Edit artboards.
Yeah.
I want to change the orientation of the page.
Enter.
Enter.
Yeah. There you go. And now you can go up to the preset where it says letter and then orientation is underneath.
Holy, this is incredibly.
Or like right where those boxes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
And then
Yeah, I don't even know.
and
That's
then
crazy.
escape.
And then escape. Wow, that was about 5 keystrokes too many. Okay, so we could go. What was it? File,
File,
document setup. How many is that? 1, 2,
edit art.
3,
Enter.
4. I had to guess that. 4,
Where's edit artboard?
5. No, wait.
It's up near the top.
5, 6, 7 keystrokes.
Terrible.
Should be 2.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't. If you can't figure that out, it's not a big deal.
It took me a while, that's why I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Gone other days, like, page properties, orientation. Okay. So what we want to do is, we're going to use this box tool, this rectangle tool. So the first thing is let's lay out. This is going to be our web page. Okay. So we'll pick our selection tool, and then we'll pick our tool, and let's make it 3-point thickness, and we'll just leave the black for now. Okay. So I went to the square, the rectangle tool. So let's delete and we'll go back. So I went to the rectangle tool, clicked it, and then just dragged a box approximately the size of the page. And then I picked my selector tool, and then I picked my box, and I changed the stroke to 3 points, and that's all I did.
Sorry. The selector tool?
Yep, so the black arrow at the top corner there. So if you click that, then you can pick items in Illustrator. See that?
Mine is
See? Oh, yeah, black one. That's fine. Yeah. I think it's because when my monitor is smaller, so it squishes it all in for me. Okay.
and then sorry,
Then once I picked the selector tool, I picked my square, and then I just changed the stroke to be 3 points, which that just changed the thickness. Yep.
Is it recommended to do this digitally, or can you just like hand draw it?
There is, there's no rule. If you can think of a good reason, okay, here's the reasons to do it digitally. You can share it easily. You can copy it. But that's true for paper too. You can just take a picture and email it. So, a lot of it has to do with your preference. If you're, I'm not the best with a pen and paper. Like I can sketch. It doesn't look too nice. If I do it with a tool like this, it'll look a little sharper. So, I don't have a rule for you. Sometimes I do it in paper. Sometimes I do it in digital. It kind of depends. If I just want to do up something quickly, a napkin will work fine. If I'm at work and I need to make serious mock-ups for a large group of people who are, going to reject or accept my design, then I'm going to use a digital tool, right? I might sketch it in a piece of paper for me just to outline it, and then I'll do it there. But I don't think there's a reason to do it one way or the other. There are tools that's specifically made just to do wireframing that you just drag. You don't even have to do this. You just can drag and drop stuff in. But I find, like, if you know Illustrator, you might as well use it. So okay, so this is going. Let's take this as our border of our web page. So let's create a couple of other sections. Let's layout, and I mean this is just rough layout. So I'm going to lay out another square there at the top. Okay? And maybe I might change the stroke color to yellow or something, just so I can see. Okay? Or maybe not, it's up to you. Then, so maybe I'll put in some text here. So I click T for text and just typed here, and then put, let's put header here. Okay? So don't be too worried if you can't follow along exactly. I'm just sort of demoing this just to give you, like this won't be part of your assignment this week, but I just wanted to give you sort of an intro to Illustrator and a little bit of design. Okay? So then I'm going to pick my square rectangle tool again. Okay, and I'm going to draw another rectangle. And we'll make it a little bigger. Oops. So it filled with black. That's okay. So what I'll do is I'll just pick my selector, and then see this one here is line color. So I'll pick black because I want to outline. And then this here is your fill color. So I'm going to pick the white with the red stroke, and that means none. Okay, so now I have another area here. Okay, and then I'll select my text tool again, and I'll go in the middle here, and this will be my content area. So then I picked my selector tool, and we can just drag it here, make it bigger. Okay, and then we could put one more box down here if we wanted to. Oop, keeps filling up with black. Okay, and I'm going to put my footer down here. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be, this looks kind of like a website, doesn't it? This is about 85% of all the websites out there. Okay? So this is our design that we're going to start with. So let's think about this. How could we make this design a reality? Remember I said that all tags are boxes. Right? So notice that our design is basically 4 boxes. How many boxes? Like, can someone identify all 4 boxes that we have? Yeah. 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 Exactly. So, would anyone care to hazard a guess as to how? So we're going to use div tags, just to ruin the surprise for you. Would anyone care to suggest or guess how many div tags we need to make this basically to create this layout? How many div tags do we need? 3? 4? Okay, some say 3, some say 4. Okay, why do you say 3 and why do you say 4?
Well, I'm assuming HTML is the whole thing, and then there's 3 sections.
Okay, that's a reasonable assumption. Yeah. So actually, because we don't want to use the body as the containing tag, because we may want it to be smaller than the whole page, right? So we're going to need to use 4 div tags to create this layout. Okay. So I'm going to save this. We can post this up later. Where's all my files here? This is our fancy design. No, I'm going to put this in. Here. So we'll call this. Oops. Website design. Okay. So, save PDF. What? Save. What? Okay, whatever. Okay. So, let's go back to our HTML page. So now we need to have 4 headings, four boxes. Okay. So here, when we reference our CSS, when we reference our div, we're styling all the div tags. All the div tags have these borders. So obviously we're going to have 4 div tags that are going to have different styles, right? Some are going to have a different location, some are going to have a different color maybe. So how are we going to differentiate between all of our div tags? So first of all, let's lay them out. Let's just put them on the page. 4 div tags. Okay, and another div finally. So we have four div tags. Okay, so now if we look at it now, wait, what's going on here? Okay. Oops. So we have 4 div tags that are all the same, identical. So what do we want to do? How can we differentiate between these div tags? IDs, exactly. So what's the other possibility that we could use? Class. So which one? So technically we could use either. Why would we want to use one or the other?
They're all different.
Well, you would use an ID when it's the only instance of that thing, right? So normally you'd only have one header or one big area, or one content area usually. So it's probably a good idea to use ID. Okay? So let's do that. Let's what should we call it? Let's call the first one ID equals container. Let's call it container. Okay? Now, let's try it. So we'll look here. Nothing will have changed yet. Okay? So, are these, so this div tag here, container, this is going to represent this outside box. Okay? So knowing that, would you say that these div tags here are in the correct position? Or should we move them somewhere else? And if we should move them, where should we move them to?
Of the container div.
Okay. What's a more succinct way of saying that? Put it inside the div box, right? Because look, remember a couple classes ago I was asking you these silly questions, right? I was saying, is this tag above this tag? Is this tag below this tag? Is this tag inside this tag? Right? That's how, remember, HTML just describes the relationships between the elements. So this is above this, this is in this, right? That's what we can do. So because, I mean, look at our structure. These boxes are, the sub boxes are inside the big box. So we have to, the same thing would happen to these tags. We're going to put these div tags inside this div tag. And we want to try, if we can, we want to have it on the same vertical plane. So see how I tabbed everything in? Okay? And then everything inside the internal div tag should also be tabbed in. Okay?
Now, do we have to identify the closing div tag as an ID as well?
No, it knows. It knows.
So they all look the same.
Right. But it knows because, so there's a mechanism in computer science called a stack. So what happens is as it reads down, it puts all the tags on a stack, and then when it gets to the end tags, it starts popping them off. So as long as you have it laid out, when it gets down to here, it'll be associated with that first tag. So you don't need to ID your closing tags. Good question. Your browser will just knows, unless you do something silly like this, right? Interleaving tags. So before it was like this, and I took it from this pair, and put it here. But now that's because it's incorrect HTML. It's not correct, so it won't work. Okay? Okay, so let's have a look now. So now, why do we only have 3 rows? Right? It's because I took out, so there's now, the main div is now around the edge. You can't really see it. Okay, and then these 3 divs here are 1, 2, 3. Okay? Okay, so let's, what do we want to, okay, let's do this. Let's, so I know I said, so we're going to create, we're going to use some absolute values just so you guys can see sort of how this works, and then we'll switch it to relative values so that your page will shrink. Okay? But so let's do, the first thing we want to do is let's make the container a certain size. Okay? So we'll go to Style Sheet, and so let's, instead of this, we'll get rid of this. So how do I reference a ID again? What symbol do I use? Hashtag, right? So it's a hashtag container, okay? And then let's do this. We'll give it a width. So this is going to force the container to be a certain size, always and forever, no matter what's inside or no matter how big your browser is. So let's make it 860 pixels. Okay? And now I'm going to use another property that we haven't looked at yet called min height. Okay? And what that'll do, so if you set the width, it'll lock it at that width come hell or high water. It's going to be that width. Okay? But if you say min width, what it'll be at least that size, but if it gets bigger, it can expand. Okay? That's the difference between the two. Okay? And okay, so let's save this and let's see how it looks. Okay. So now we have this little outline here. This is our big div. Okay, our container. Okay. Now what we want to do, so we're going to go back here, and so what should we need to give our first div tag an ID. What should we call this div tag? Sorry? Banner? Sure, banner. If we go from our design, I called it header, because there may not be a banner there, it may be links or something else. So let's call it header. Okay? So we'll call it header. And now we'll go back to our CSS. And now we need to reference, what do we call it? Header? Okay? And so now what we're going to do, we're going to specify a height for our header. Okay, let's make it 200 pixels. And we're also going to change the background color. And you guys can make it any color you want. Let's make it blue. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we want, so for back to our box model. So remember our all-important box model. So far what we've been doing is we've been accessing, let's say if we access the border and we've been adjusting the border. We manipulated the border in its entirety, so the whole thing. But you can actually just change the top or just the bottom or just the left or just the right. So you could turn on just the left border if you wanted to, and everything else would have no border. Okay? So how do we do that? So we use border hyphen width. Oh, sorry. Border bottom hyphen width. And you can pick one of these keywords or you can specify it in pixels. So that is going to turn on only the bottom part of your div. Okay? Then we need to set a style. Border bottom style. And let's make it solid. And again, we need to pick a color. Border bottom color. And we'll make this something like red or something. Okay. Let's have a look. Ooh, there we go. Does everyone have this? Let me know if you don't. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to style our content area. So probably a good name for our div tag would be content. Okay. And let's do the same thing. So we're going to go to style sheet. We're going to address our content. Okay. And in content, we're going to give it a minimum height because our content might change, right? We might have more or less content. Let's set that to be 400 pixels. And now we'll change our background color to be gray. Or is that blue? Let's make it gray. You guys can make it any color you wish. Okay, and now let's refresh. Here we go. Everybody have this? Sorry, I just got to check my notes. Okay, does everybody have this? Yep. Sure. Okay, so you should have this now. So now we need to do one final thing. Well, not one final thing. There's more we need to do, but so now we need to go back to our HTML, and we have our final div tag. We have to give an ID, and we'll call that footer. Okay, and let's go to our style sheet, and same thing, footer, whoops, footer, okay, and let's make the height 120 pixels, the background color, let's make it that blue. And now we're going to do the border top, because we want the line on the top of the footer, right? So we'll do border top width equals 1 pixel, border top style, let's make it solid, and border top color, let's make it red. Okay, so we'll save that, and I'll come back to the code, but let's just see what it looks like. Here we go. So here's our little web page. Okay, so I'll bring you back to the code. Okay, so does everybody have this? Okay, just have to... Okay. So, does anyone not have this? Good. So, let's start putting some things in. Okay? So, let's go to our trusty Lorem Ipsum site. Lorem Ipsum. Okay, we all remember what Lorem Ipsum is. So, we'll generate a couple of paragraphs. And let's copy one. And let's put it inside our div tag. And we'll put it inside a paragraph tag. Okay? Actually, let's, instead of in the header, let's put it in our content. Okay, so if we save this and go and see it, here's what we have. Okay, so notice there's a little bit of space there that has appeared now. So there is actually a little fix for this. So these are one of those things that this shouldn't really happen, but it does. And they're just there's something that we just do to fix it, and that's it. Where was it here? Shoot, which one was this one? Just had it. Okay, not that one. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a bit of CSS code at the very top of our file. We're going to style all div tags. So we're going to change the display to the inline block. Okay? And the width is going to be 100%. Okay? So this is just sort of a fix that we have to do. Let's try it. There we go. Okay? So, you see there how my lorem ipsum, it's right up against the side of my content area. That doesn't look too good, does it? How would we, let's say I want to make some space between the edge here, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Here, and the text. And I want to create some space there. Well, how would I do that? How would I do that? Yep.
Is it margin or padding?
Well, actually, it's kind of, you could do both. Could you explain how you could use both to do that? No?
I'm trying to remember the difference.
What's margin and what's padding? So, if I were to, let's say I were to use margin to do that, what element would I be changing the margin of? The paragraph. Okay. Good. That's exactly right. So, let's do that. Let's set all P's. Let's make the margin. How many? Let's try 10. 10 pixels. There we go. Okay, looks a little nicer now. And maybe even 10 might not have been enough. Maybe 15. Okay, a little better. Okay. Okay. Now, what else should we do? Let's put in an image. Okay, I want an image underneath my paragraph. Okay, so what could I do? We could go over here, go over to our index. So under my paragraph now, put some white space. Now I'm going to put my image tag, image source, and I'll just close that off for now while I go find a source. Well, why not? Why not the box model picture? Save image as, and where was I? Desktop. Was I here or did I go? Yeah, I thought it was here. Boxmodel.gif. And now we'll put it here. Is that, how is it spelled? We will cut and paste. Okay, save. And let's have a look. Okay, now same thing. It's too close to the border. What can I do? Now, given that we might have multiple things, and we probably always want to have this space here for no matter what we put there, I think maybe doing the margin might not have been the best approach. So what's the other approach that we could take to creating that space there? Because so for now so if we do, let's say I put an image and I put a link and a heading for each thing, I would have to say, margin is 15, margin's 15, margin's 15. What if my client comes and says, oh, I want it smaller. So now you have to go to 5 places and change 5 numbers. Yep. You could make a class. That is an interesting solution. So we could go to here. We could go to CSS. We could make a class called margin 15 or something. And anything we want to have margin 15, we would make that a class. That part of that class. Okay. That's probably a little more difficult than we need to do. That's a good idea. So that's a good way of doing it. So let's say if you have a class like highlighted text or something that every once in a while it would get stuck. Like if you do a mouse over, it would become something different. So then what you can do is using JavaScript is you can dynamically assign classes onto elements. So you define the class in advance, and then dynamically you say, okay, this now, boom, has this class, and then it changes its style. Right? And when we are going to get into JavaScript a little bit, and we'll look at that. Okay, no, so that is actually an interesting solution, but there's an easier one.
Can you do it to the whole div, to the whole ID?
Which div?
I suppose you could do it to like a container.
Well, if we did, let's try that. Let's try that and see what happens. So, what do we want to do? So we want to say container, and we want to give a margin. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. So if we do that, because now what's going to happen is it's just the whole thing is going to shrink in, right? See that? So it went away from the edge. So I want everything inside this div box to be in a little bit. So we tried taking the stuff that was on the inside and making it bigger. But what's the other approach? You mean the image? Well, okay, let's try that. Let's do that. So let's make this, instead of a width of with pixels, let's make it 80%. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so now this will work, but we still have this border problem. Okay. So remember, everything's a box. So we don't want to manipulate the margin. We want to manipulate something else of another element. The padding, yes, of which element? The content, not the container. The container is the outside one. We want to set the padding of the middle div tag in here. So content. So we can leave that like that. So content, we want to make the padding 15 pixels, and then in our paragraph we'll get rid of this. There we go. Okay, so now what's happened is it's kicked us out a little bit. So we have to, because we've used absolute, no, did we use absolute widths for the container? Content. Yeah, why is it squeezing it out like that? Minimum height. Let's see here. Shouldn't do that. Oh, let me. Oh yeah, maybe this is where it shouldn't be it. No. Okay. Well, let's. If we adjust this. Yep. I don't think so. That's no, because it doesn't reach all the way over. If we take this out, see, it's still being pushed over. So let's try this. I wonder if we could do it with percentages. Let's try. So content.
Do you have to change the paragraph to be 100%? Or whatever the...
No, it should be, well, let's have a look. It should be 100% by default. Let's figure it out. You're right. Why is that? Okay, let's try it. But that shouldn't be width. 80%. See, it's not that. Okay, let me try. Let's see, 600 pixels. Let's do an absolute. Oh, I was doing the wrong one. Content. Oh wait, what did I?
Content, your container.
Yeah. Okay. No, but that wasn't it either. That wasn't the problem. It was. I wonder if this will look proper in Chrome. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, it's still sticking over there. The padding. So it's 15 pixels too long. So I think to do this, I'll have to make this. Where is my? Okay, let's make this back to. We'll set this to be 900. We'll have to do this absolute. Okay, and then we're going to set the content to be 900 minus 15, which is 885. Oh, because it's all around, so it's actually 30. So it would be 870. Okay. So there we go. Now I think it was probably has to do with this little fix. It was having some. Yes, that's probably why. Okay. But for now, does everyone have something that looks like this? Okay, what do you have? Back to the code? Sure. HTML or CSS? This one? Okay, I'll make it a little small. Oh, no, I can't. Okay, so have a look. And, okay, so what did you say? Well, that's about right. That's fine. Well, yeah, so that means you've set the margin of the, or the padding of your container. Sort of pushing everything in. So if you, so go back to CSS. So yeah, get rid of your padding. Question. Oh, is it in a paragraph? Okay. Yes. Scroll down. Sure. I can scroll down. Okay. We have a half hour left, and I just have one more kind of major-ish thing that I need to show you so that you can complete your assignment this week. So how's everybody so far with pretty much have this? Right? Okay. Okay. So now what I want to do next is we still only have one page. So now we're going to create a navigation bar and multiple pages that'll form a website. So far we've just been working on web pages, but we want a site with a bunch of different pages. And so your assignments now are slowly going to get less and less prescriptive. Okay? So you'll notice the very first assignment I said, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this. And you did it and then you got a mark. So as the assignments progress, the requests are going to be more and more high level. So I might just say, eventually, I'm going to say, make a web page. And you're going to do that. So for this assignment, I'm going to say, create a navigation bar. And so that's you have to now take your knowledge that you've learned and apply it to a new situation. Okay? So this week's assignment might take a little bit more time than the last two. I think the last two were pretty easy, right? If you could just follow instructions, you could do it. But now you're going to have to think about how to actually do the things that I'm asking. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to create a navigation bar. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our HTML, and we're going to put our navigation bar in our header. Okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to use an unordered list to create our navigation bar. Now, you don't have to use an unordered list, but it kind of makes sense to do it. Yep.
You said you're trying to make it in the header?
Yes. No, I mean the div called header. So there's a difference, right? And you guys know there's the head and there's header. Okay? Okay. So we're going to use an unordered list. And in our unordered list, we're going to have a couple of list items. So each list item is going to be a link, our link. So remember A for A tag, then href. Then this is going to be the link back to the main page. So we'll call this home. So see how I tabbed everything all nice? Very nice. See, look at this. Tab, 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 tab. Very nice. You want your code to look like a tree. Right? Or a mountain range or something like that. Something with varying levels. Okay, so save that and check it. And you should have this. A link, and if you click it, it should just go, it's a link, it's pointing to itself. Okay? Yep. Okay, so once we have that, we can just copy and paste. this, right? See, I like to copy and paste a lot because, people aren't very good at copying. Computers can do it 100% accurate every time. Humans, not so much. So, we should use the computer's help when it's available to us. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to create the links to other pages. So let's say page 1. Okay? And then page 2. And page 3. And page 4. Is that a fire alarm? It sounds like not in this building, though. Yeah, that is a fire alarm. So, shit. I doubt there's an actual fire.
Do you really want to take that risk?
Well, you guys want to evacuate? You could. I mean, let's. We're not going to get much done with that noise. I would imagine that, but it's not exam time. I don't know. Hi, what do you think? Are you staying or going? Yeah, leaving? Okay, maybe we should leave. Oh no. Why? Okay, well, let's assume we're coming back though. Let's just come back, right? Because we'll finish. We have till 9:30. It's not, and I have 20 more minutes, and then you guys can go. So let's maybe pack up and leave your stuff here. Well. Yes. Oh yeah, after we're done, I'll put everything up online. Yeah, absolutely. And let me just, so we'll pause this. I'm going to leave my stuff here. Pause recording. Left off. Resume this. Okay, yes, question?
I'm not able to connect the home link, and it doesn't go back to my home page.
Well, it shouldn't look like anything. Like it should just kind of flicker.
Yeah, but it just says web page not found.
Oh, okay. So check your link to make sure that your URL is correct. So you might have check your.
All we have to do is have my.
Yeah, whatever your file is called. So you've called it HTML space index. So rename your file because you want it. You want your main file to be called index.html. And we'll see that. I think if we have time, we'll upload what we've done today to our new server, our free server. Okay? Okay. So you should have, if you refresh, you should have this here. 5 links. Home, page, page 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I have them all pointing to index.html. So it should all just be linking us back. And so I'm not going to do too much yet. Okay? Yep? We're going to do that. We're going to do that. It's coming. Yeah? Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. Okay. So before we restyle it, let's just make them work. So right now, so let's go back here. Let's change all the links to page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Okay? Now if I refresh, is that going to work? What's going to happen when I click on page 1?
Is that an actual link?
Yes, it is a link to nothing at the moment. So that's what we're going to get. File not found. Okay? So what we need to do is go back to our directory where our index.html file is, and we're going to copy it. So I right-clicked. I'm going to go to copy, and then I'm going to paste, or Control V. I'm going to paste it 4 times. So I have 4 copies. And now I'm going to rename each one of the copies to page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. Okay. Now, if we go here and we click, now we get something. So see, it's still the same, but see, look at the URL at the top. Okay, so page 3, if I click on page 4, now it says page 4. Okay, if I click on page 1, now it says page 1. So let's open up all of these pages. Let's open up 1 through 4. We'll open them up here. Okay, and let's just change the content. Let's call, so in page 1, let's put just the number 1 in the content, and we'll save it. And in page 2, we'll put the number 2. And in page 3, we'll put the number 3. And in page 4, we'll put the number 4. Okay? So for those of you who just got in, I copied the index file 4 times and renamed each copy page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. And then in my HTML file, I created 4 links to each one of those pages. So now, if I go to my web page here and I refresh, so now we can go to home. So that's our home, and then we can go to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Okay. So does everybody have 5 links and 5 HTML pages? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to style our links here because they doesn't really look much like a navigation bar. Okay. So we remember. So our unordered list, we're going to give it an ID called top nav, because it's going to be our top navigation bar. So we'll save that, and now we're going to go over to our CSS, and we're going to go down here and create a new section for top nav. So we're going to do a few things to top nav. First, we're going to change the display to inline block. Okay. We're going to make the margin 0. We're going to make the padding 0. We're going to make the list style type to be none. So that will get rid of the dots. We're going to set the background color to be, in my example, I have this. What's this color? And then I'm also going to set the width to be 100%. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. What's going on here? I didn't miss it. Oh, what did I do? Oh, which one did I edit? Oh, shoot. Page 4? Okay. So I probably should have waited a little bit until I copied my page. But so now I have to do, so I have to go to my, where's my index? So make sure that now that we have 4 pages that look the same, or more or less the same, you have to be really careful about making the error that I just made, which was I thought I was editing index.html, but I was actually editing page4.html. So I'm going to copy this because we want this in all of our documents. So I'm going to go to index and paste it in the URL and paste that for all of my pages in the UL, the unordered list. We want top nav. Okay? So I'm going to save that, save all, and now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to refresh. So see now the top nav has changed a little bit. It looks a little better. We got rid of the margin and the padding and the dot and a few other things. Okay? So now what we're going to do, I'm going to introduce a new aspect of CSS. So now what we can do is I want to style all the list items, so LIs. So remember, for a unordered list, we have the UL, that's the outermost, then inside we have a bunch of these LI tags. Okay? So what we can do with CSS is we could say, I want to select all the LI tags, but only inside the top nav ID. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to CSS. So we're going to say, I want to style everything in top nav, but actually not everything, only the LI elements. Okay? So this is going to style all LI elements inside your top nav. Okay? So now let's do this. We're going to float it to the left. And we can check these as we go, just to make sure that everything's working. So let's check the float. Okay, see that? See how it's on one line now? So we floated it to the left. Because normally they're block elements which take up the entire line and have a new line character. Like remember, paragraphs automatically have a new line character. But what we did is we said, forget that, just float it to the left and no new line character. Okay, so now it looks a little better, right? Because, most top nav, if you had a left nav, you'd have them laid out vertically, but if a top nav, you want it like this. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do a couple of other things. We'll change the height to be 32 pixels. We'll change the min width. So each item is going to be at least this long. It's going to be 80 pixels. So let's see what that did. We'll go back here. Okay. So we have a little more thickness now. And we're going to text align to center. And we're going to, on the border, so we want to have a line between each link. So what we're going to do is turn on the right border of each of the links. And then it will have just one line. So we're going to say border right, and then all in one line, we can set the border width, the border style, and the border color. So I know before we were doing that on 3 lines, but CSS has a shortcut where you can do all of the border stuff you need on one line. One semicolon, yep. So let's save that and let's have a look. There we go. Okay. Now we need to do one more thing. So now we're going to style the links inside the LIs. So we're going to go back to our CSS. So we're going to say, I want to select everything in top nav, but only the LIs, and furthermore, only the A's within those LIs. So we're only styling all the A's in all the LIs which are in top nav. Okay? So now we're going to, so we'll make this display block, and height we will make 26 pixels. And padding. So remember padding and all the things in the box model, we can do everything all at once, or we can either just adjust the left, right, top, or bottom. So CSS allows us to do that on one line as well. So we could say 6 pixels, 8 pixels, 0, and 8 pixels. So let me just double check the order of those. So it's the first one is I think it goes clockwise. Top, right, bottom, left. Okay? Top, right, bottom, left. So now let's look at it. There we go. So see now it's sort of in the center. Looks a little more like a navigation bar. Okay? And now let's look at, so we'll set the background color to, let's make that, here we have it, E6. It's a gray. And we're going to take the text decoration off the link. So we're going to say text decoration none. And finally, we're going to set the color to 4D, 4D, 4D. Okay, it's a dark gray. Okay, let's check it out now. Here we go. So we can go to the home. We can go to page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Okay? So we're back at the home. So we're just going to do one more thing. And then we're going to upload it, and then I think we'll end it there. And I think I might give you 2 weeks for this week's lab. Because, well, we're kind of running out of time today, so you're not going to have any class time. And it is a little more difficult. So I'm going to adjust the due date to be 2 weeks. And then next, yeah.
So then the next week would be like another class time?
Next week we're still going to have a lecture. I'm going to start the next thing. But it's going to take a little bit of a ramp up. I have to inform you of many, many things before you can kind of get to do something useful. So that's probably good timing. Because so next week I'm going to have more lecture and probably not an assignment. And then the week after that we'll get back on track with the assignments. Okay, we're going to do one more thing with CSS. And that is we're going to create a little hover effect using what are called pseudo classes. So we're going to basically do the same thing as this, but we're going to add one more refinement. So we're going to style all the A's in the LI's in top nav, but we're going to put a semicolon, and we're only going to change when it's being hovered over. So this is the style that will be applied when the mouse is hovered over the link, the A. So what we want to do is we're going to change the background color to something, red, gray. And we're going to change the color to white. Okay, so now if I go back here, okay. Okay. So far, so good. So, let's put this on the web. Okay? Yes? Your laptop died. What happened? Oh, okay. Well, you can follow along. I'm recording, so I'll post it up. Yes. Sure. Okay, I'll let you guys finish that. So if you're finished, so go back to your email where we called up the server and open up the link it tells you to go to and log in. And so I'm going to show you how to upload this to our web server.
No, that was working.
Sorry?
The hover's not working.
Oh.
Unless it's not very important. Figure that, sorry.
Okay. Yes. So for the links, so I started in the index page, and I created 4 links. Right? And I just said page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and then I copied that whole index. I copied it 4 times and just renamed each thing. So if I go to page 1, it's basically the same thing, except down here it's different. But this always stays the same. Right? So you want to have this at the top of every page. And then so in my directory, I just copied and pasted my index file and then just renamed each one. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Yeah? The header? You mean
For the CSS.
for the nav bar?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Can I show me what's happening? Oh, yeah.
Page 1.
Okay, well let's look at page 1. Go ahead. Oh, see, okay, go back page 1. So see your unordered list is missing the ID. So it's not getting the styles applied. Yeah. Oh. That one? Oh, yeah. So you just like close it, and then what happened there? Yeah, that's right. Oh, what's going on here? That's min. M-I-N. See how it's different color? That's always an indicator that there's a problem. Yeah. So, see there? Same thing, something's wrong there. Maybe not. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So let me just quickly show you how to upload this to your web page, and then I'll just quickly go over the assignment, and then you guys can go off because we're almost out of time. Okay, so you should have gotten an email from that host. Okay, what was it? Geez, now I forget how to do it.
000
Oh no, it was Carmen Brange. It was Carmen Brange. Wasn't it .hero or something? There we go. Okay. Your account. Okay. So go to members.000webhost.com. Okay, and then log in with the credentials that you provided. Okay, so you should see a site like this. Now, when you get a website when you get a web server, when you lease one from GoDaddy or any other web server, so I have a Canadian one for my site called Host Papa. It's like $3 or $4 a month. They usually have a whole bunch of software and stuff installed already to help you maintain and work with your website. So usually the big one is called cPanel. That's a suite of tools that will allow you to administer your web page. So a good place to start when you go to a web page is to go to cPanel. So click on cPanel, and you should see something like this. Okay, so these are all, we could change our password, we can view details, we can look at subdomains, things like that. We're not really interested in any of that right at the moment. Usually the servers will come with webmail, so you could have info@carmenbrange.com or whatever. You could have many emails. Okay, so you could manage them usually through here. You can manage the accounts and actually read your webmail. What we want to do, we want to go to file. This is the file section. We're going to go to the file manager. Okay. Now we can do this with an FTP as well, but so we have to retype in our password. But we're going to do this through their web tool that they've created. Okay. Warning. Oh, it didn't like my... Okay, go back. Were you guys able to log in? Maybe I just used the wrong password. File manager. Oh, now it's working. That's weird. So how... Do all of you see something like this? No? What do you see? Oh, wait. Okay, so go back to CPAN. Like, go back to there. Okay, so click on File Out. Okay, there you go. Okay, so, yep, good. So go to, sorry? Okay. And you logged in? Okay. Yeah, what was the URL? So go to 000webhost.com. Or no, wait. No, what was the initial one that we had to log into?
Was there a step before you got to this page?
From here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got here, and then click on File Manager. And then we should go to here. So go to, this is the web page. So if you go to members.000webhost.com, then enter in your login. Then you should be brought to this page. Okay.
Give us a new username.
No, re-type over that. Input a new username. Input your regular username. Some A thing, right? That's an error.
Because I was able to log in on that.
Oh, and it worked?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. It doesn't. All we want to do is get the files up. Okay. So is everyone at the file manager? Okay. So, and does everyone? Where does it tell you your domain? So see your domain. Everyone can see if they go back to the cPanel page. Can everyone see their domain? So I want you to click open in a new tab and go to your domain, and you should see a page like this. So now we're looking at our web server from, this is the back end, this is the front end. Same thing. We're looking at the same files, just with different protocols. We're using HTTP here and sort of FTP here in a roundabout way. Okay? So what we want to do now is we're going to click on public HTML. That is where all your files are stored. And see how you have this default.php? That is this file running, or that is this file here. Okay? So what we want to do is go back here. We're going to delete this. Okay? We're going to click our file and we're going to click delete. We don't want that. Okay. So now you should just have this.
Where's the delete?
This button right up here. Okay. Now we're going to upload some files. See our button here? Or maybe let's try Java upload, because that'll probably let us do multiple files. Let's try it. Okay. Run this time. Is that going to run? You guys might have problems. Okay, so it's actually... No, it didn't let me use the Java one. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to just do the regular upload. And so we're going to upload to this directory, and I'm going to choose my file, and go to the files we've been working on tonight. And we're gonna, where is it? Here. So we're gonna upload our HTML file. Okay? And actually we can do another one. So let's do our CSS while we're at it. And did that already load? Okay, let's see. Let's go back. No? Okay, it didn't. Okay. Why didn't this? What do we have to say to? files will be transferred. Okay.
You have to click the.
This thing?
No, you have to click the check mark. Like once you have.
Oh,
once you
jeez,
have-
what's with these poor interfaces tonight? Like, I know computers, right? I'm as a computer guy as you get. If I can't figure it out at a glance, there's something wrong. Especially if it's something easy like this. Okay, and so let's upload all of our files. So our style sheet and our box model GIF and our other pages. Did we upload index already? Yes. So one more. Page 4. And go. Okay. Seems like it was successful. Now you should be able to see your files here. And now if we go over here, uh-oh, error. What happened?
Did you drag it to your desktop first, or?
No. Here we go. Okay. So this site is live to the world. Anyone in any place on the planet that has internet connection can now access this site.
So GoDaddy works the same way.
Yes. Any computer on the internet has the potential to be a server. And GoDaddy is just, they're specialists. So they're hooked up to a very fast internet pipe. They have literally farms of computers. So also, poke around here. Poke around in the cPanel. So for example, we can look at, they have statistics. We can look at who's visited our page. Let's see here. Or we should be able to. Stats, check domain, website stats. So if we wanted to see, let's see. Let's view our stats.
My images.
Can we see here? You cannot view because, I haven't. So you have to insert a little bit of code into your page so that every time it's hit, it does the count. And I don't have that set up. But you could set that up. And so for example, if I log in, so this is my webpage, carmenbrangier.com. Actually, I don't think I have the password to log in here, so I can't show you.
So when we make changes now to our files,
Yes.
do we re-upload them?
Yes. So, I think next week what I'm going to show you is a couple of different approaches to dealing with that. So that can get pretty annoying, right? So you make because I said you want to check it after every little thing, right? So you don't want to have to do a little bit, save it, upload it, then So what you usually do is you set up a local server on your own machine, a local web server that's only accessible from your machine, and then you do all your checking, like while you're developing, you check locally, and then once you're ready, say once you've implemented a functionality, then you upload everything up.
Like a staging site?
Like
Like a staging site?
stage in?
Yeah, like what you just said basically is a staging site where nobody else is going to see it.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of what I have time for tonight. So let me just quickly go over the assignment. And I'll show you. Next time I'll get, I have my password for my website at home written down. It's a big, long, secure one because my website kept getting hacked. So next week I'll show you all the tools that I have, all the stats, views that I have, so I can see every hit. I can see which files are being hit, where, like what link. So if I post my page on Facebook and someone on Facebook clicks my page, I can see that person came in from Facebook. Right? There's many, many things I can see. Okay. So let's look at the assignment. Where are we going here? So, for your next assignment, I'd like you to submit only a link. So don't give me the actual files. you submit, upload your site to a web server. So hopefully by next week, you'll probably have the Ryerson server up and running. If not, just use the free one we set up today. Okay. So assignment 3. So I'm going to change the due date to not next week, but 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. So here's your requirements. Create a web page, 5 pages. Okay, website, I should say. It does say website. Your site should be hosted on the Ryerson student web server. So if you, it doesn't have to be. If it's on a server, that's fine. You'll get full marks. Okay. It has. I just put Ryerson because I figured it would be ready, and that's all you'd have. But as long as it's on a server, you get 4 marks. Your site should have a horizontal navigation bar that allows access to all pages of your site, so no broken links. Each of your pages should have at least 1 image. Your image and CSS files should be in a separate and appropriately named folders. One of your pages should include a bibliography of yourself, include an image and some facts. One of your pages should be a contact me page that displays contact information. You can provide fake information if you want. You don't have to put your actual phone number online. The remaining pages, so that would be leave 3 left, 3 pages, you can fill with content of your choice. Okay, so text, images, what have you. Okay, but make, put something there. 5 marks for aesthetics. So do your colors work well? Are the images free of distortion? The layout is appropriate fonts, etc. Sort of 5 marks there. Okay, so there's a little more subjectivity involved in the marking of this assignment, and that's going to get more and more. Okay, as we're going to switch from fully objective, where you could say, yes, absolutely, I did this, to more subjective, where, if you're a web designer and you bring your design to a client, what are they going to say? They're going to say, I like it, or I don't like it. That's as subjective as you can get, right? So I'm going to try and push you into that because you have to design it so you think it looks good, right? And then likely, if your experience and skills are anywhere near me, then you'll do okay, right? That's how you'll have to survive. You can't predict. If you have a client, you don't know what they're expecting. You have to build on your standards. And so that's why you need to have high standards. So hopefully yours is higher than everyone else's and you're good to go. Okay? But so still there's a lot of objectivity in this, right? A couple of things you can do to guarantee your passing grade at least. And then just, for right now we just have 5 marks really that are subjective based. Okay, but that's going to get more so. Okay, so 2 weeks for this class. I'm just going to give you a heads up also next month. When's the last class for this class? It's in July sometime, right? July, when?
I think it's July
31st? Okay. So June 26th, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 classes from now. I'm going to be out of town on business in Ottawa, and there's no way I can make it back for 6:30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a video conference and I'll have someone here that can set it up here. So if you want to come here, you can. We'll do basically the same thing we're doing now, except instead of me being here, my face will be a little video in the corner. But basically everything else will be the same. So that'll be just for that Thursday, and I'll find a tool. There's a few free tools that you'll basically be allowed to you could log in from anywhere. So if you want to log in from home for that class, that's fine. You could do that too, or you could come into class and watch the stream here. But it'll pretty much work as regular classes go. I'll hopefully I can still record. Not just sure because sharing the screen and recording may be. I'll do some testing before this week. I'll set it up and we'll make sure it's working and we'll get it tested in here. So just a heads up for that. I think that's it. Yes, question.
So for this assignment, we upload our files and get the website to
Yeah, so in Blackboard, just paste the link.
But we also upload the files as well, like before.
No, you don't have to. Because it's all front end. I can see your source, right? If you go here.
As long as you don't have birth
Yeah, that's true. But so, like, if you can just right click and see the source, and I can see your code anyways, right? So that's fine. Okay. Any more questions about the assignment? Yep. Just okay. Any other general stuff before I go offline? Okay. So I'll be around till about 9:20, and sorry we went over with the fire alarm and everything. Maybe next week I'll give you some extra time to finish off this assignment. Okay. So no more questions? Yes.
No, I'm not on the side.
Okay. No other general stuff? Okay, I'll come around and help. Okay. Yeah. Oh no, that's for see this one. Okay, so this one, if you want to upload zip files, you can and it will automatically do it. Is that what you did? And it did it? Okay. Oh. Oh, then click this.
I just want to figure out like
Oh, see here? That's your folder there. So you want all these files here.
Wait, so for some reason, my image didn't show up.
Did you upload the image?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's right there.
Is the so okay? So go back to your site. No, we're like the front end. The actual. Okay. So right click. Go to view. Oh. Okay. View. Go to view. You should get Chrome. Safari is like the IE of Mac.
Okay.
Okay, so you can. So I'm trying just to view your source because then you can
Yeah.
see. So right click on that. Copy image edits and paste it at the see those in front.
Yeah, it's weird.
So let me see your code.
Sure.
Your index. Oh, you have it in a folder,
Yeah,
but it's not in a folder.
it's not.
No, not go to the server.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
so how
So
do I
you
do
could
that?
create a new change the link or no, you can move it.
Oh,
So I would new directory, right?
okay. So
And then
it's
move it in there.
images.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So we have to. Where did you save all your files? Okay. So click there. Okay. Then copy that. Control C. Okay. Then go up here on the edge. Yep. Control V. And then slash. Oops. Has been disallowed. Okay.
I haven't saved it anywhere.
What do you need?
Do I have to save it somewhere before? This is just letting me know.
Oh yeah, but I mean you've been working on this all along. How did this one?
This is yeah. No, it should be. Okay, there we go. So I went here. This is where we were, and then so Windows now it hides all that address. So this is the actual address. So you run D users, desktop, etc. Right? So this is the folder. So I just copied this into here, into the file name, which then brings me up to the same folder. Right? That's sort of just a little shortcut. You could go here, go to computer, my computer, go to D and navigate, but that's sort of just a little shortcut. So we'll go there, and then you just upload each file. And then once you've added, you have to click on the check. Yep, choose file. And then once you've chosen them all, that's already been chosen. You've already got this one out. So pick HTML, index.html. Yep. And then just double click or click down here. So you double click.
Oh, okay.
Because you already
Oh, I see.
and then
Oh,
right. Okay. And then once you got all of them, then click the check.
Now, I want to make an image. This is not, because I'm going to upload maybe
Sure. Yeah.
right? So I don't want it there. I want it in the center.
So I would make margin auto
Margin
for the image.
So I don't have an image here. So what?
So you could
I would just
you could put image, or you could set an ID or a class,
Okay.
and then
So it would do all images then.
Yeah.
That way.
yeah, it's a, whatever you want.
For the assignments part, that's to do with. Okay.
So put it on margin auto. There's kind of a few tricks you have to do to get things to center.
Yeah. I'll just save that, I guess, so I don't remember.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to.
No, but even like I said, that's the stuff you got to Google, right? You can't remember. Even I can't remember that exactly.
And
Right?
that'll be all.
Like I kind of roughly know, but I'll have to double check.
Yeah.
Just so that, because I could try and figure it out and spend an hour, or I could go to Google and get the answer in 2 minutes.
True.
So
And when you say like the images and CSS files should be separate and perfect, so I'm going to have a bunch of different CSS files for
Yeah.
each different page.
no,
No.
nope.
Just give me one file.
That's
It's
the
different
whole
HTML.
point of having even set the file, because like your page, your page here.
So you can
Where
have
is it?
So you can have a layout that
Right, the page, the style between the pages is the same.
Yeah.
And so let's say I said, oh, you know what? Actually, I want this not to be blue. I want it to be yellow.
Right.
So if I had one style sheet for every page, I'd have to change 5 things.
Yeah.
But now I just go up to my header,
Yeah.
and I change it here once, and now it changes for everything. Right?
Okay.
Save that. And so now all my pages are like that.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of separating your style from layout.
Yeah.
So you have a whole bunch of files that are layout files, your HTML,
Yeah.
and then you have your style files, right?
I guess it would be a lot of work.
Yeah. So you want to have as little redundant code as possible. So if you find that you're like, even this. So notice how at the top of our page we have this thing at the top of each page.
Yeah.
There is a better way to do this. There is a way to do it so that it's only in one place. And I don't know if we'll have time in this class to show you how to do that, but that's what you would do. So you would put this in another file. And then you would just call this in all the spots that you want it. And then let's say you're like, oh, actually, this isn't called page 4, it's called page 6. So now, the way I have it laid out now, I have to go to each page and change it, which is error-prone and boring and annoying. I don't want to do that. So you want to try and do that separation as much as you can, to the, and it's all to the point where it's reasonable, right? There's a point kind of where it gets too much, especially if you're just doing a quick little site.
Yeah.
But normally, if you're doing a site of any substantial size, you'll want to do that. And actually, so what happens now is the stuff we're learning. There's been other technology now developed on top. So a lot of that stuff you wouldn't do. It would be managed by this framework.
Yeah.
But so that's the benefit of having separate style and layout. Sure, I'm going to post it up right now. I'll post them. Yeah, it's fine.
I had a couple more questions.
Sure. 1 sec. Sure. 1, 2, 3. 4. Actually, didn't I upload the other exam? I haven't uploaded any of the other demos.
Is there one for the first call?
Yeah, there should be. If not, I'll upload it today. What do I want to do? I want to build an item. Okay, let's upload. Question?
Is that mine? Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
So, choose file.
Yep.
Click on that.
Yep.
Press open.
Oh, that's a folder. You have to go in. So double click on the folder and then pick the file.
I also have to do each of these separately?
Yeah. So what I would do is, okay, so cancel that. Cancel. So now click check. Click check. To upload that check. Okay. So now click on the back arrow or the back. Okay. So now what you want to do, create a new directory and call it images. And check. Yeah, it is. Like, okay. That's the dimension. Okay, so click there now, and now upload your images into there. So now go to upload. We still have to do one at a time.
And then go.
No, go from here. Because you gotta choose your file. Yeah. That's why if you use a tool like FileZilla, you can click them all and drag them over. But you can't install stuff on these computers, so that's why we're kind of using this cumbersome web tool. And next week, maybe I'll show you how to set up Dreamweaver.
Okay.
Because Dreamweaver is an FTP server client as well. So you can use Dreamweaver, you could log in to this server, and then you can open up files as if they were on your computer and edit them. And then when you save it, it automatically gets transferred to your server, which is a nice way to do it.
Okay. Does Dreamweaver work on the Mac?
Yes, but you need like a special version.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't if you just got the Windows version, you can, but they do have it now. Okay, next up.
Yeah, so my page is supposed to be that sort
Yeah.
of arrow. It's not. It's like tons of websites. They kind of expand. Right?
Sure. Yeah. So make your container, make it a percentage instead of
Okay. Sorry, it's just getting it's
No worries.
So instead of like width, right?
Yeah. So just
like 100%.
yeah. But now we fill up the whole screen. Oh wait, no, but that's that's your
Sorry,
server.
'cause I didn't
You
change
gotta
it.
check the local version. So what I would, check, so like do your changes and check the local version, then once you're ready, then
Then
just send it in.
So
Check
I'll
it.
just get on it.
Because so eventually, when you learn server-side technology, you have to check it on the server.
Yeah.
Because you need, there's code there that's run by the web server that if you ran it on a computer will know.
This is strange.
So the content, this
Oh,
is,
in the,
that is probably absolute as well. So you would want to make that 100%.
Okay. I'll probably want to do this like most websites do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Or so what I would is maybe make it 90 and then give it like a 5% margin on each side. And then just play around with it.
Yeah.
See what the look is. And now some websites are even I've seen them they're doing it it's sort of a CSS trick where the foreground scrolls faster than the background. I don't know if you've seen that. So if you scroll down, like normally when you scroll down, right, like everything moves up fast. But imagine if the text was sort of moving up fast and the back was sort of slowly moving.
Okay.
Kind of like old school game effects, where
Yeah.
the background's moving slowly and the foreground's going like this. It just
Yeah.
creates this weird, or some new designs are like a never-ending scroll. So as you scroll to the bottom, you can use JavaScript to inject new elements at the bottom of your page. So as you can have an event like reach bottom. As soon as you get there, boom, it creates more. So you can, it's just basically infinite scrolling down. There's really a ton of space for innovation and stuff.
Yeah. Another question.
Sure.
Do I want these to be aligned?
Yeah. Well, that's up to you.
That would be once again like.
You have to use auto margin. You probably have to do some searching because there isn't just a simple, quick way to do it. I think you have to set probably you have to have an absolute value and set absolute width and then set the margin to be auto. That should work.
All right. Any question like that? Or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just, you can ask.
Well, I mean,
But get into the habit of,
Yeah.
because that's constantly going to
I'm gonna try this at home. Like I'll try and do mostly something this week.
Yeah. You should
So
do that.
because it's not. You said something.
Not
else.
Yeah. But spend some, you have some time. Spend some time, just playing around, tweaking it, getting it to look exactly how you want.
Yeah.
That's the best way to learn, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I want this heading actually over here, and then, so then you have to think, okay, what do I know about CSS? Oh, I don't really know how to do it. Then you have to go figure it out,
Yeah.
and then you'll remember it. It'll stick. If I just tell you here
That's
and you
true.
just do it, tomorrow it'll be gone.
I feel like that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, but that's why I some of my students, some of my not as high quality students as they get mad because I don't give them a prescriptive instruction set.
Yeah.
Like do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. They say, oh, you're not teaching. Well, no, actually I am. But learning requires work with it. Right? So what I try and do is just show you the bare bones, and then you kind of have to then work with it and make it be something. Right? And then it will stick.
So that's where we're in the nuance class.
Well, yeah,
Look
even
at the YouTube at least.
yeah.
It's like if you don't remember stuff from the first week, it's gonna be tough.
And
So you're not putting that stuff in
it's not the
yourself.
kind of thing. It's not memory like, oh, in 1967 this and this happened. It's not recall memory. It's a different type of memory.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's a skill. It's like knowing how to play an instrument.
Right.
It's deep inside,
Yeah.
right? And so because when you think about solutions, you don't really think about your knowledge, right? Your knowledge is embedded, and it helps sort of leverage your solutions, right? But it has to be internalized, right? The only way you can do that is by working.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why this is assignment based.
Cool.
Question? Yep.
And then I'm not sure since you're not uploading files.
No, you're gonna need CSS files. How are you gonna stop it?
Yeah,
Sure.
but it's just uploaded from. How do you upload
No, but it'll be, yeah, no, but on your server, you're going to have all your files, and everything should be in the directory, and then you're going to give me a link to that, and then I can go, I can see, I'll look in your source code, I can see your link at the top, and I'll be able to see, well, sort of, go to your site, go ahead, right click, go to UP source. So see, look, I can see it. Oh, not in a folder, so you would lose it. Or I can look at your images. Oh, in a folder. Good. Good stuff. Okay. Okay.
So I have questions because my image was not so
Yeah. Okay. I think someone else had the same problem. Let's look at your code. Okay. So you're saying that cupcake is in a folder. Okay. Let's go to your directory. Let's go to your web server. Look, it's just there. So you want to create a new directory. Images or whatever. And then you want to click on cupcake. Click on this checkbox. Go to new. And then put /images / and then oh, actually, yeah, okay, go back. So click there, go to and then say set up over here. So now if you go back. So now if you click on it. Yeah, there's our file.
So when I have something like that, I should make a new directory.
Yes. So really, you should be using, this is actually not the best way to do it. The only reason you're doing it to this web tool is because you can't really, I can't install anything on this. But normally, if I were to do it, I would just file zero. Because, or another FTP client. Because what that allows you to do then is you could just, so go here to your folder. You could just highlight this, all of it, including the folder, and drag it in, and it just copies everything over. Like you were just copying it to the folder on the computer. But we just had to go through this. We just, we didn't really, we couldn't install it.
So I can do that.
Exactly. Or if you're doing CSS, it's great CSS. Because so your style sheet, your styles sheet, CSS should be in a folder. It's called either styles or CSS. And then there's all your images. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do it for the last one.
That's fine. It wasn't much long.
Oh, yeah, it's in this.
Yeah. Should be in a separate images. Right. So remember, you want one of the first things I said is you want to always have to consider file organization. Right. So you want to keep like files together in folders. Keep them separate. So keep your HTML together. Your all your yeah. See you later.
I will also make a separate.
No, that's your root folder. And so all your HTML files go in the root, and then so your CSS, your images, and then we're going to start doing JavaScript. That goes all into separate folders.
Yeah. And I have
Okay.
I tried to click on it and made it look exactly.
Oh, you mean the hover thing? Oh, get rid of that space.
Just
Yep.
all of everything.
And save. And refresh.
Honestly, no space.
No space.
I think that's
Okay. Okay, guys, I have to quickly, and then I have to go. One question?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Probably the same problem that. So go to slide sheet. no space between hover and symbol. Oh,
Is that the right?
image, then you need src in front of src. Yep. Is the image there? Go to your folder. Like where you're.
Yeah, I just put it.
Oh, but it's in a different folder. It's in images, so you have to say images slash.
Also should I just put it here?
No, that's better to have it. And then just switch it, change the link image.
So for this, I put,
No, other way. Folder first. No slash. Yeah, exactly. Yep, yep, you got it. There you go. Okay. Yep. See, it's the color. See
Yeah.
what brought me. See what brought me there?
Yeah.
So see, I was just looking for colors, right? So it's blue, blue, dark, 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 dark. Oh, like, oh, that's where your area is.
Okay.
That's why color coding is so important. Imagine if you're just using Notepad and everything is black. That would be, you'd never find that.
Okay, oh my gosh.
Okay.
So it's okay if it's like kind of up and down?
Well, try if it looks a way that you don't like, the best way to learn, figure out how to change it. So if it's too high, so you want to maybe increase the top padding, right? Or maybe increase the padding of its container, right? Play around, see what happens. That's the best way to learn. Okay?
Okay, folks. Oh, I think I was recording this whole time.